Could there be an all-pro linebacker possibly on the move? The Baltimore Ravens as the butt of jokes. And maybe, just maybe, a Florida wide receiver comes to the Charm City. Find out next. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me here to get your Ravens content. And you could be doing anything else, but you chose to be with me right here, right now. So let's get this show started. In news today, the Chicago Bears and Roquan Smith are having a kind of a tiff, and Roquan no longer wants to play for the Chicago Bears. They feel like the contract that they offered him, possibly in good faith, just wasn't good enough. The clauses and the stipulations that they put in just don't meet up to his standards. And I get it. He's one of the 5 best linebackers or young linebackers in the league right now, and they're not paying him like it. He is entering his 5th year, and the money's just not right to him. So he requested a trade. And going by CBS Sports, they listed the 5 top destinations for Roquan. And who popped up? Number 1, the Baltimore Ravens. I don't blame them because we need help. I know everybody says, hey, let's get somebody in here to make that linebacking core better, because that is one of the 2 positions that we kind of lack at, so to speak. Now, is he an upgrade to Josh Bynes? Hell yeah. But Josh Bynes is one of my favorite players. He's been serviceable. He's been on 16 one-year contracts from the Ravens for the last 5 years. And it's time to upgrade. It's time to get that middle linebacker that has that athleticism and that speed to fly around the field. Now, not to say that we can't take Bynes and use him, because we can actually put him into that other inside linebacker spot. You know, I'm still waiting on Harrison to do his thing, but until then, Bynes could take that opportunity. Now, I know we need help on offense, but you know, it's the Baltimore Ravens. What is the team identity? The identity is we just go defense till we can't go defense no more. So I just feel like this would be something really good, depending on how much money he asks. But believe you me, whatever he's asking for, he's definitely worth it. Because we cannot keep taking these replacements, these cheap options, and plugging them in. Now, if we expect our all-world secondary to operate like an all-world secondary, we need to get a pass rush, and we need to cover underneath. Josh Bynes, like I said, good player, but he struggles in coverage because the speed's just not there anymore. He's an older player. He gives his best, but we just need somebody to man that middle that can cover these tight ends, that can go sideline to sideline. Thought that was Patrick Queen, but it's a discussion for another time. Now, I'm just sitting here, laying down, chilling, watching some good old The Pivot podcast. You know, shout out to them. One of my favorites, like one of my favorite shows out there. And it just so happens that the Cincinnati Bengals trio wide receivers, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, happen to be on the show. And I'm like, okay, it's cool. Let me check it out. Let me see what the opposition's doing. And it was fine and dandy, you know, shits and giggles, haha, hee hee, all that good stuff. Until, you know, they started talking about schedules and asking about, hey, do you look at some stuff sometimes and say this might be an easy win, or, you know, is it no competition here? And of course, this is what happened.
Or y'all sit on the sideline, y'all bombing on people, and you like, man, this shit's actually easy.
Nah, word, yeah. All the time, you know what I'm saying?
That Ravens game.
Ravens game.
Now, I chuckled for a minute, but then I was just like, hold up. It's bad disrespect. Like, the disrespect is out of this world. And it just got me to thinking about playing like a Raven and being a Raven. Back in the day, I can't speak for some of y'all newer Ravens or Lamar fans, but back in the day, we were a feared team. Like, teams used to be scared shitless to play us. Now, it's just like, oh, you know, it's another game. We'll sit here and we'll contend with Lamar and see what happens. No one fears us anymore. You know, are we becoming a joke? Are we becoming one of those teams that, yeah, we win, but teams aren't coming in thinking, you know, this might be a loss. And I just know we need to find some dogs. Like, we need to get some guys in here with a little mean streak. Now, I know what happened with Ray Rice. I know that kind of shied the team away from people with certain character issues. But don't we always say people deserve a second chance. People deserve a chance to prove themselves. And especially in a draft where you have 6 fourth-round picks, I think a fourth-round pick is definitely worthy of second chanceness. Is it a word? Who knows? But I do think that it's some players out there, past, present, possibly even in the future, that play like a Raven, that has that chip on their shoulder, that has that mean streak. And don't let me get into the George Pickens thing, because I know he's a kind of different kind of dude, but that attitude reminds me of Steve Smith. And you remember when Steve Smith played here, like defensive backs were like, they were shook a little bit. Like they were like, oh, this dude is about his money. He don't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. And that gave us a little advantage because they didn't want to run up on him. You know, our people nowadays, it's a little bit different. We seem like more of a finesse team. Now, everybody wants to say, hey, we are a run first team, but when we were a run first team before, we were rough and rugged. And we had wide receivers that blocked and did their thing. Nobody messed with Anquan Bolden. Like, he had them dudes shaking. Steve Smith had them dudes shaking. Not to say that, talent doesn't win out sometimes, but just the mystique of being a Baltimore Raven is gone. And I just want that back. Last but not least, is there a Florida wide receiver coming to Baltimore? Who knows? But there's been reports that Lynn Bowden Jr. and Preston Williams are in trade discussions or possibly leaving the team because, the Miami Dolphins have Tyreek Hill, they have Jalen Waddle, they got Cedric Wilson, Mohamed Sanu, so somebody's pretty much got to go. And it may be one of those two. Now, they may not be needle movers as far as some Ravens fans are concerned, but they do have experience playing. They have in-game experience. They have situational experience. They may come in and be some sort of veteran presence. Who knows? Like, why not take a flyer on them? Because I guarantee you they will be more than nothing but a conditional pick. Like a 6th or 7th round pick just for them to come in and see if they can beat somebody out. Now, if these young guys can play, they'll beat them out on the depth chart. If not, we have somebody in there that may be reliable. Now, also in the mix could be Tampa Bay's Tyler Johnson. I like Tyler Johnson when he was in Minnesota. I think he played 1 year with Bateman, but he went down to Tampa Bay, and he had a good year his rookie year. Now, you enter the mix. You've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller. They signed Russell Gage and Julio Jones. So you have an odd man out. Not to mention they have Jalen Durden that they picked up a couple years ago in the draft. So somebody's the odd man out, and I'm thinking that it's Tyler Johnson. Would I take Tyler Johnson to be our number 2 right now? Goddamn right. Is he better than James Prochet? You goddamn right. Not to say that Prochet doesn't deserve his chance to start, but once again, if these guys can play, no matter who you bring in, they will beat them out and get that time. It's not like we have certain wide receivers that we play every single down. We don't. We rotate wide receivers in and out, and that's what people fail to realize. We do a lot of rotation. Even with Hollywood getting as many targets as he got last year, they would rotate him out. So if the guys can play, they'll make the field. All right, y'all. Like the video, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Anything helps the channel grow. I appreciate y'all, and until next time.